Well, 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 look who decided to show up. Now, I know, it's been a long time since I last posted something on this channel. Almost 3 years, in fact. Many things have changed since then, and I have many stories to share, but becoming a scuba diver, I would say, is the most exciting one. So, long story short, I got trained to dive up to 20 meters, I got my own equipment, and an underwater camera. Now, this is the juicy part. I started using my camera when I went on my trip to Barbados to help me remember it. And with the time that's passed since then, I've had many more adventures and videos. Since it was taking so much space on my camera, I had to think of a way to keep them without using storage. So like anything on my phone or computer or whatever. But then I remembered YouTube exists. And then with this newfound thought, I wanted to make a comeback to this channel and start something new. My plan is to post my dives on here for each dive I have had using the camera. So each dive being labeled as dive log, followed by whatever number I'm on. The first one is a bit of an exception, considering it wasn't a dive, it was actually snorkeling, hence dive log 0. However, I saw many amazing things on this trip and I had to share it. So whether you're here out of curiosity, interest, me forcing you, or some other fourth reason, welcome. So, to get us started on this adventure, there were 3 of us just coming off the boat. Those of us being Zach, Lee, and of course, my lovely self. That's Zach, by the way. The area of Barbados in which the snorkeling was taking place is known as Carlisle Bay, which is just off the southwest coast of Barbados in an area called Bridgetown. There are tons of shipwrecks here, and I mean tons, each possessing a unique name. Now, of course, we only visited 3 of those wrecks being the Bajan Queen, Elian, and Barwind. Bajan Queen being the first one we visited. This fish attractor, by the way, is Lee. He's an amazing guy, and the one who is taking us on this journey. He does videos of his own, for the Twitter account for his family's business. If you ever go to Barbados, I highly recommend looking for Ted's Tours and anything linked to that. But back to the wreck that is absolutely covered in algae and fish. This Bajan Queen is 36 meters in length, a decent size for Barbados' first ever tugboat. It was used in the construction of Bridgetown, then after a decade of tugging, it was refurbished as a party boat for tourists. Then it was donated to the Coastal Zone Management Unit, which then after they sunk it as an artificial reef. Which, in all honesty, pretty cool. Now, one of the things I really want to mention is the visibility, a drastic contrast from Scottish waters. On a good day, it'd be like 8 meters, maybe, but like in this water, it's like 20 meters at least. But anyway, enough of that. After saying goodbye to the Bajan Queen, Elian was up next. Luckily, not too far. This one was a decent 30 meters in length. This wreck has some mystery behind it, because it was previously a Colombian freighter that was taken by Bajan authorities after discovering a drug smuggling, which is crazy. It was deliberately sunk less than a decade later. Now, I must say, Lee knows how to swim, okay? He's very good at swimming. You can see, he uses his legs like a normal individual. But Zach, on the other hand, what the hell is this? But anyway, aliens seem to be quite popular, considering the people constantly going in and out of it. But sex jokes aside, I really wanted to go in myself, but I'm not able to last long enough to pull myself out in time. But after we finished, it was time to move on. It takes a bit for us to get there, so that means it's story time! So in 1955, between the 19th and 20th of September, a tropical depression emerged in, let's say the far south of, far south of Barbados. It was designated a tropical storm barely 6 hours after its formation. Then it became a hurricane in less than 24 hours after being designated a storm. Hurricane Janet was the name it was given, and it was one of the fastest developing hurricanes in history to go from a Category 1 to Category 5 in less than 48 hours. But, it took many lives, destroyed a significant amount of buildings, and sunk quite a few ships. One dramatic story aside, and after a bit of a trek, we made it to our next stop, Barwind, a 21-meter-long World War I military tugboat. Now, you can't see it at first, but when I began to approach the wreck, I thought everything I saw was nothing more than just the bottom of the boat. But the closer I got, the more I realized it was all fish just chilling down there. I mean, I came to learn that this wreck would be the most flourishing with sea life. I saw so many different types of fish, I couldn't keep track of half of them. But I feel blabbering will ruin the moment, so enjoy some silence from me, accompanied by some totally relaxing and definitely not copyrighted music. Well, that was definitely what I would call a nice and good experience. But all good things must come to an end, and we must now move forward. Although, on our way back to the Bayesian Queen, Lee spotted something at the bottom. At first, I thought it was something left by fishermen, but I was dead wrong. I found out later that it was a skeleton of a certain species of sea urchin that lives there. But in this case, it's not very alive. The locals call them sea dollars. And, well, I tried to put it in my pocket, for later, but unfortunately, it was too brittle and I broke it. I wasn't very pleased with myself, as I'm sure you can tell. When we were just about to reach the Bayesian Queen again, a pufferfish decided to come up to say hello. I was absolutely mesmerized, of course. And considering I hadn't seen one in person before, which then causes me to be caught completely off guard when in a flash, a turtle comes out of nowhere and Lee just starts swimming with it. I was absolutely taken aback by the spectacle, but it was very cool to witness, I must say. And they call Lee the Turtle Whisperer, funnily enough, because of how often the turtles come to him when he's in the water. But look at that. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, there was a second pufferfish that Lee went to go say hello to, but then we went back to the Bayesian Queen once more. From a different angle this time. Believe it or not, I only found out recently that this wreck was the Bayesian Queen again. So this whole time, I was thinking we saw four different wrecks. Terrible. And I even got them initially out of order, so I had to check maps for ages just to prove myself to be bad at pilotage. After this long back and forth, we decided to take a breather, watch the fish, and try to look inside the square shaped hole for more fish. When, in the corner of my eye, I see what I can only describe to be a silver stick floating through the water, like some unbalanced projectile, some knife without a handle. But then, to me, being immediately distracted by a turtle I see hiding over on the side of the wreck. Now, I was confused on what to focus on, so I ended up choosing the turtle to steal my focus. Then, lo and behold, being caught off guard again by the same turtle, who just wanted to see Lee again for the second time. Ah, don't ask me how I know it is the same one, by the way. You just gotta know. So, while it was swimming around Lee, I thought I couldn't get a good look at it because the fish are in the way. But the turtle must have heard me because not 2 seconds later, it decided to get up close and very personal. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I was so extremely tunnel visioned that all I could think of was keeping the camera on it. And I tell you, it was nothing short of amazing, spectacular, and frankly, I'll remember this moment for the rest of my life. However, being tunnel visioned has its downsides, such as being distracted enough to forget that a snorkel has a hole at the top. Now, thankfully, I am not letting you see that. So after totally fixing my snorkel and definitely not my windpipes, we took one breather to relax ourselves, and I decided to spin with the fish. For a moment of immersion, if you will. Then it was time to leave and return to the boat that is in fact still afloat. One thing I need to mention before I go, and definitely enjoy working on New Year's Eve and day, there were a few of the weird silver stick fish in there that I feel are very much worth mentioning, and they will be making themselves known later, but that is a video for another day. Until next time, have a nice sleep when you get to it, and a happy new year.
Pretty cool, right? Huh? Pretty cool. I can't swim. That's how